Welcome to Coffee with Janis and Karen. And we're doing the last session of self-control.
Is that session 4?
Yes, I think it's session 4.
Yeah.
This one, y'all, this one has hit pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody escapes this one.
No.
Yeah. And so we're going to get right into it.
Okay.
The next verse we have, Janice, is, let's see, Philippians 4, 12 and 13.
Philippians 4, 12 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a different spot today
Yeah.
because we've been doing a little bit of construction and remodeling around here. So anyway, so we're just in
we're
different...
just relaxing here on the couch.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 what?
4, 12 and 13.
All right. It says, I know both in how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me.
Oh, that last verse is taken out of context so much.
Yeah.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It meant I'm okay going hungry. I'm okay not having everything. You know, that's the context of that. I'm okay having plenty.
Yeah.
And I'm okay, you know.
If I don't have.
Yeah. That's the context of that. Not, I can do whatever I want. I can be anything I want to be. I can fly. That's not what it means, you know. And so when you get the context down to that verse, it's harder.
Yeah.
It's harder than what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So, but that shows a reliance upon the Lord, though.
Right.
And you know, it's putting your faith to work.
Yeah. That verse before, verse 11, says, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am therewith to be content. And then it's followed by those two.
Yeah, this is a guy who was in prison. You know, shipwrecked.
Yeah.
And so he's learned to be content. Let's look at the next one.
Okay.
This is 2 Peter. One of them little books that's harder to find if you don't know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
2 Peter.
2 Peter.
It's back there. I have to sing the little song sometimes.
There it is.
Now let's look at 2 Peter chapter 1.
Okay.
And it's verses 3 through 6.
Okay. Yeah. According as his divine power hath given unto us all things that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us to glory and virtue, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises, that by these things ye might be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. And beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness.
And it keeps going.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see that.
It says later in verse 8, for if you possess these qualities in increasing measure, they will keep you from being ineffective and unproductive in your knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. Well, I guess so. But you know what? I liked where it says, so that through them, the great and precious promises in the scriptures, we can participate in the divine nature. I don't know if I've heard that preached. Very much. The divine nature.
Yeah.
Having escaped the corruption in the world caused by evil desires. Wow, Janice.
Yeah.
I feel like the older I get, the more work I have to do. Not to be loved by God. It's not to be accepted by God as a child of God, but to struggle with the flesh, you know, and a lot of people will say, well, there's a place where you can get to where you just don't struggle anymore. Well, maybe, but maybe it's just that you're blind to the struggle that you're having.
Yeah.
I think that might be the case too. A lot and some people are going to have bigger struggles in different areas too that are quite obvious to other people. But I think the important thing is, as long as you live, you fight.
Well, we talked about in one of our first or second sessions where I just think we're so used to giving in to whatever it is we're feeling that we think it must be okay.
Yeah.
And so really we're to crucify this self, sanctify this body each day is what we're supposed to do. And, you know, not just give in to everything or every feeling that we have. And I think that we live in a world where if you feel something, then that must just be the way it should be.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
That's the lack of self-control.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we're in the shape we're in.
If you let a child from the time they're a baby get everything they ever want, and they decide how they live and what they eat, that's not good.
Yeah. But that is what adults are doing.
Yeah. That's what adults
That's
are
what adults are doing now. Yeah.
So,
if I want it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it.
Doesn't matter how it affects my kids. Doesn't matter how it affects my family. It's all about my happiness.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not.
No.
It shouldn't be. Because we're adults.
Right. Yeah.
And so other people's well-being has to come into play in our lives. And so, wow. Now, you can get in bondage to living this away. You can get in bondage to thinking, well, if I don't pray exactly the same time every morning, if I don't read the scripture exactly the same time, if I don't, you know, whip myself and deny myself this and this, you know, there's a balance to everything.
Right.
You have to be balanced. And I've said this before. Sometimes you don't have time to do all the things that you normally do because God is answering your prayers and you're living in that. And you have to just acknowledge that. I experienced that just this last week. And so it was really nice. I thought, man, I really need to be, you know, taking my time and sitting in my chair and doing my devotion. But I'm like, you know what? I'm spending time with people who matter to me, and I've prayed for this.
Yeah.
And so, yay. This is good. Acknowledge that. And there was, in my devotion this morning, I just did a quick run through and I came across this. It was talking about Pebble Beach in California.
Okay.
And it was talking about how people from around the world go to Pebble Beach to gather the little rocks because they're polished, because they beat against the other big rocks on the shore constantly. That's what this said anyway. But they said around the other side, there's a cove that is real gentle and calm, and nobody goes there to gather the pebbles because they're not polished like that. And so it said polish is the result of difficulties.
Oh, wow. We've been polished a little bit, haven't we?
Yeah. And it comes a time you're like, okay, God, are you done?
No, right. I'm shiny enough.
Yeah, but that's what we do to each other too.
Yes.
We polish each other. What's that verse about iron sharpens iron?
Yes.
Yeah. And so as Christians, we're supposed to do that for each other. We do that in our families too.
Right.
So yeah, polish is the result of difficulties.
Yeah. You know, it hurts
It does.
when someone, you know, corrects you or calls you on something. My family's good about that. You know, my husband and my children, they're good about, you know, but it actually, I do kind of appreciate it. You know, if they see maybe that I'm looking at something the wrong way, then they will give me the different angle, you know, in our conversation or whatever. Anyway, yeah. And it's important to have, I mean, I think you and I maybe kind of do that for each other a little bit.
Sometimes.
Yeah. And so,
and then I find myself, you know, I may be dangling over here with this idea, and you may be, allow me to do that. But then after a while, I kind of look, and then I'll make a correction, to that too. So it's okay to disagree with somebody and just kind of let them dangle over there in an idea. And then, because the Lord can always bring them back, or it may just be something they're thinking about, maybe not something that they're really attached to. But let's throw this out there and see what we think.
Yeah.
So
I like having that, and I do feel like I kind of have that in you, Karen, because I know, we don't always have pretty characteristics.
No.
And sometimes we might be thinking something that, maybe it isn't as nice as it should be, or whatever. But it's kind of nice to have somebody to bounce stuff off of.
And be safe.
And be safe and not judge you. Yeah. And like you say, usually we come around and we're like, maybe I just didn't have the best attitude there, or whatever. Yeah. And so. Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
But it's nice to feel safe and loved by somebody, even,
Yeah, you need to find people like that. At least one person like that. I did that. I remember when I was younger, there was a big church thing going on, and I found an older lady who I knew could keep her mouth shut. Yeah. And I went and just dumped it all on her, and it was a great thing to do.
Yeah. You have to be careful who you share things with. You can't just do
And y'all quit doing it all on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, if you love somebody,
go to them.
Yes.
And scripturally, that's how you're supposed to deal with a problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're not supposed to go, if Karen and I had something against Kim, we shouldn't be talking about Kim. We should go to Kim. Yeah. And vice versa, Yeah. So, and that's just the way it should be.
It should be that
way. So.
Even at work. Or wherever you are. If there's an issue with somebody, go to them directly. That takes courage.
It does. It humbles you.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's absolutely the right way to do it. And it honors the other person too. It gives them the opportunity to correct what you were thinking. Right. So, or validate it, one or the other. So, anyway. Yeah. Polish is the result of difficulties. This has been coffee. Janis and Karen, y'all. This was the last one on self-control.
Yeah. Yeah.